Alright then guys, welcome to this update for my submod for World of Ice and Fire mod for Mountain Blade Warband. Now this submod is going to be including about 80 to 90 new troops. Most of them are going to be a Westerosi update in terms of the troop trees in the Westeros troop lines. But in the Essos troop lines we are still working on them. I unfortunately don't have much time and it is a bit tough. And so if you guys do download the submod, you test it out, you tell me if there are any imbalances, anything to work on, and you also have some suggestions about Essos, then you can let me know and I can add them. Now I've talked to Fallen Lord. Fallen Lord says that there's going to be a huge troop tree overhaul for 9.0 version 9.0, which is apparently going to come out late December, early January. Maybe it could be delayed, I don't know, but I don't have much information. What I have been told though so far is that they have taken into account that my advice to dismount the Dragonstone house guards, so I'm thankful for that. As long as they dismount the Dragonstone house guards, I am totally okay. But there's going to be a troop tree overhaul, and therefore my troop tree for version 8.2, which is this video, this is what this video is about. This is for version 8.2. okay, this troop tree is going to probably change a lot if what Fallen Lord says is indeed correct, and maybe I don't know if they will make some last minute changes. It's completely up to them. I have no quarrels because I'll probably make a submod either way. Now so I will release this 8.2. You can download the troops file. All you need is a troops file. You don't need any other file, so you just download the troops file on the link below. I'll put a link in the description. You can download the troops file and then you can add it to your playlist. Not your playlist, sorry. You can add it to your files. World of Ice and Fire mods file. Now be careful. Please make sure you back up your original troop tree. You don't want to lose that. Okay, so do back that up. But you can use this troop tree as well. Now this is a submod. Let's get started. So as I said, about 90 new troops, but also there's going to be mercenaries, which I will show you after I've talked about the main troop lines. Now here we'll start off with Dorne. Now with Dorne, what I've done, I've added a cavalry line, which is the Dornish light cavalry and Dornish knight. Now these guys are going to be mounted. They're going to be very light armored, so they're going to be light cavalry, but they have very fast cavalry. Of course they're going to utilize the sandsteed, and I've given the knight a lance. And yes, so this is one of the units that maybe you guys could try out. They are going to have a very fast horse, and they will have this light lance, so they can use a polearm and do a couch lance attack. They will have medium armor, but it's going to be okay. Okay, it's you know, I've basically added this knight because I know, Dorne has knights. They have a very good history, a very good history of having good knights, so that's why I simply added them. So Dornish knight is right there. In terms of their main spear line, I have not really changed much, but I've changed the armor of the elite heavy spearmen, okay, just to look a bit nicer and a bit cooler. All right, and I've added a third skirmisher line unit, and this is going to be the Dornish insurgent. Now the Dornish insurgent is going to be basically the most elite kind of skirmisher units. They are going to be fast striking units that you can use with a very good high athletics. Maybe this is a bit OP, but we will have to see. And I'm going to need more people than just myself and 2 other people testing this out. I need more people to tell me, okay, this is too OP, this is too weak, and then we can do balances. But this is the Dornish insurgent unit that you guys can utilize as well. And they are going to be decently armored, okay, and they are going to be fast as hell. So that is a new addition to the Dornish troop tree. What I've done, I've also added a Dornish bowman and foot archer, just to have some extra spaces. But this is nothing that special. We can probably work on this in the future. But the normal horse cavalry line, I have not changed. I kept that, and that will remain the same until further notice. So that's the Dornish troop tree. Then the next troop tree that I've changed is the Dragonstone troop tree. And now we're at Dragonstone, one true king. We're going to play a bit of propaganda, and then I'll be back. Okay, so here you are.
We all know what Stannis is. He inspires no love or loyalty. He's not a king. He inspires no love or loyalty.
Prepare to land. Your Grace, the dwarf has played his little trick. The wildfire. We can only play it once.
We all know what Stannis
Too far
is.
from the gates. Fire.
He inspires no love or loyalty.
Hundreds will die. Thousands.
He inspires no love or loyalty.
Come with me and take this city!
He inspires no love or loyalty. He inspires no love or loyalty. We all know what Stannis is. He's not a king. He inspires no love or loyalty.
It's not going to be a siege, Your Grace.
He inspires no love or loyalty.
Okay, now bend the knee, you bitches. Okay, so here is the new Dragonstone troop tree that I've been working on. Now, I think Dragonstone overall in the normal version 8.2 is not that strong of a faction. Of course, their house guards are mounted in that version 8.2 unless you dismount them yourselves. And they are not that great when they're mounted. When they're dismounted, they're a completely different beast altogether. Now, what I've done with the Dragonstone troop tree is I've added a extra horse unit, and this horse unit is the Dragonstone Knight, and he is going to be a heavily armored horse unit, and he's going to have the lance as well. Although the weakness with him is that his proficiencies aren't as good as other horse units, so they are going to be heavy cavalry for sure, but they are not going to be all that special compared to what you'll see in the second, okay? Because you're gonna see some very good horses and very good additions. Shock cavalry, I've literally made a separate line for shock cavalry only, and there's going to be different purposes and different tactics that I will explain that you could potentially use. I've added an extra archer line, extra archer unit, the fire bowmen. I thought it would be fitting because of the law of religion. They won't be receiving any special strength updates or anything compared to their precursor, but they will be receiving fire arrows, and for this purpose they will be able to do damage to White Walkers as well, so you can stack these up if you'd like. Then we have the new infantry line, so it goes up all the way to Dragonstone House Guard. I've basically added a better helmet, and I've also upped the no, not for him, but I did. Yes, for this guy, I've added elite armor. So this is the Relaw Guard. Okay, the Relaw Guard. The Relaw Guard is basically going to be the best infantry in the game, more or less. Okay, you can't see his one-handed proficiency because he is holding a flaming sword. I think this is too OP. I think this is too OP, so I might need to take this out. But the only downside about the Relaw Guard is that they are extremely hard to upgrade into. Extremely hard. They're very expensive to get, and it's very hard to get them. Okay, the Dragonstone House Guards are still they're still very good. They're going to have the same proficiencies and same stats as they usually did, except for the fact now they have a new head armor, and that's all that should be mentioned about them. I further added a spearman line to the Dragonstone troop tree, and there it is. The elite spearman is going to also wear the Dragonstone elite armor, but he is not going to have a special headgear himself. Okay, in terms of his proficiencies, he won't be the best spearman in the game, but he will be up there. You know, he will be a pretty good spearman, but not nowhere near close to the best spearman. Okay, so that is the Dragonstone troop tree. Very good. Okay, let's move on. Let's make this quick. Free Folk, unfortunately, I have not really made any changes to the Free Folk line. Once again, it's a bit difficult to do so. You need to think a bit, and I've left it untouched, and we will be working on it for version 9.0. So, you know, give your suggestions if you have downloaded the mod. Please give your suggestions, and we can see what we can do with the Free Folk. You know, we can see, and of course, any suggestions that you guys give will be credited. So I will make sure your aliases, names, usernames, whatever you want is in the mod description, so you guys are credited. Okay. Fen, once again, I have not made any changes to the Fen troop tree, unfortunately, once again, so I can't say much about that. Then we move on to House Targaryen. Now, this is a big change. Firstly, you can see that their armor has changed ever so slightly. I have not really touched their cavalry line, but what I have done is added new infantry lines. I've basically based the Targaryen troop tree off of the Blackfire troop tree, and if you watch my Daemon Blackfire series, you would know what that means. So this is basically the analog of the Bolton House Guards, or the Blackfire House Guards, I should say. Okay, same stats. The armor is going to be a bit different, but they have the exact same equipment as my Blackfire House Guards, except for the shields, which are going to be Targaryen shields. Okay, so their shields are going to be Targaryen, but apart from that, they are going to be very good in spearmen, one of the best spearmen, if not the best spearmen in this submod. Okay. I've also added a new veteran guard unit that you can take a look at. They're basically wearing the same equipment as the elite spearmen, but they are now going to be using a usual same Targaryen shield. Now, their proficiencies aren't as high because of their longsword. Their longsword has very good reach. Secondly, it does 39 cutting damage, which is one of the highest of any sword. So that's why it would be unfair if I made it too high, and their armor is very good, okay? And they look pretty cool in my opinion, very, very cool, okay? So this is basically based on my Blackfire troop tree, except for the horse and the archer line, okay? Because you know, my Blackfire troop tree, I only ever hired the infantry and the house guards. Of course, they are the most useful troops. They are very good, okay? House Targaryen, or the Valyrian troop tree. So I renamed them from Crownlands to Valyrian. Now, if you choose Valyrian as your starting quota, you'll get this troop tree that you can hire, and it's basically the exact same as House Targaryen, except for the armor is now different. Okay, it's not as Targaryen-y, you know, it doesn't look that Targaryen-y or Blackfire-y. I don't know how to say it, but they basically are the exact same. So you have your chosen knights, elite spearmen, elite lancers, and Valyrian marksmen. Okay, so same stats, same, and once again based on the Blackfire troop tree that I have on my Daemon Blackfire series. Okay, so that's why I've added it, and I know a lot of you guys love the Blackfire House Guards, and so here you are. This is your Blackfire House Guard, your Valyrian elite spearmen. Okay, then we have Night's Watch. Well, I have not touched the Night's Watch, so they have remained the same. Okay, so they won't be changed until 9.0 comes out. Okay, and then Iron Islands is going to be the next thing we talk about, the Iron Islands. So first and foremost with the Iron Islands, I got rid of, was it their scout? I honestly never hired that unit, so I can't even remember its name. Okay, so usually Ironborn Seafarer can go into a scout, I think, and then it can go into the Finger Dancer line. The scout is very bad, so I've replaced it completely with a bow swayer line. So this is going to be their bows. Okay, they're bowmen basically. Okay, they're bowmen. Now their bowmen aren't anything really special. They are just there, but they are an option if you're going for a pure Ironborn army. And I've added 2 extra infantry units. So one of them is the Kraken Warrior, which is going to be one of the most elite infantry units in the game with very good armor. Okay, very good armor, and also one of the best shock units in the game. Okay, so this is going to be purely a shock infantry unit. All right, so this is going to be 4 shock units. So this is the Iron Guard, Ironborn Iron Guard. Okay, I've added that, and their level is very high. They have a very high level, so they're going to be very expensive and hard to upgrade into. But once you get them, slowly but surely, you will be kicking ass, because they're gonna be very good shock units. Okay, so keep that in mind. They're going to be extremely good shock units, and you're going to need to keep your distance away from them because they are going to hurt. They will hurt. Okay, then we go on to the north. The North has also seen a new, a complete overhaul with the Northern Longbowman line also added. Okay, they are nothing extremely special, but I've added them because I know in the books and in the show there are Longbowmen in the North, and that's why I've added them. Okay, so I didn't make them too special because of course North would just be overpowered. So I added them just for the sake of lore. Okay. Then I've added the Northern Knight of White Harbour. Now I know White Harbour has its own knights that you can get if you own White Harbour, but this is just an option for any Northern player. Okay, this is an option for a Northern player. Okay, that you can get. Okay, option for the Northern players, and I've added the Mandalay heater shield. Okay, because I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, it looks pretty cool to add, I must say. Okay, then with the infantry line, we've kept the Northern House Guards and Spearmen, but you can now see that I've upgraded the infantry armor. Usually it's not this high because for some reason the Northern Guardsman has better armor than Northern House Guard in the original World of Ice and Fire troop tree. Okay. We've spoken to Prodruno about it, me and Fallen Lord. He says he won't change that. He has his reasonings. I disagree, but he's the owner of he's the owner. He's the guy who decides at the end of the day, and we can't really do much. Okay, so we can only make submods, and he's happy with making submods. If we make submods, he has no problems with that, of course. So these are your spearmen. Also, there's nothing really different about those guys except for their armor has changed. Now I've added a new infantry line as well with the North, and maybe this is going to make them too OP, but we'll have to see. So basically, you know how the Stormlands has those maces. Okay, they have the mace guys. Okay, same thing here. All right, I've added that for the North as well. So they're not going to have that great armor compared to their other infantry counterparts, but they're still good. Like it's still not that bad. All right, so there they are. So you can stack up some prisoners if you want with these guys as well. Okay, you can stack up your prisoners with these guys. All right, very good. So that's the North. The North is now done. Okay, then we have House Stark. House Stark, basically I've added, I've made very minor changes, nothing special. I've renamed them to Winterfell, so if you ever take over Winterfell, you don't have to be calling them Stark troops, because you're probably not going to play as a Stark, so you can use Winterfell troops. Okay, so you can hire these guys if you own Winterfell. So simply put, they are just going to have slightly better armor than the Northern House Guards, normal Northern House Guards. Okay, but they're going to be pretty good, and I've added the elite spearmen units, and they're going to be better than even normal Northern spearmen. Okay, the normal Northern spearmen, they will be better. Okay, then we move on to House Karstark, which has absolutely no changes except for, once again, that their most elite units, which are going to get higher wages, are going to be able to afford, therefore, better armor. Okay, so they have better armor than they used to have. Okay, and that's the only difference with House Karstark. With the Bolton troop tree, now Bolton troop tree has not necessarily changed all that much, except for the fact that I changed the guards unit to a shock infantry unit. So I've added the Flayer. Okay, so Dreadfort Flayer and Dreadfort Master Flayer. I've added this simply, I think it's cool. In my opinion, I think it's cool. They're a shock unit. They're going to have good armor, and they're going to have that great sword with them. And once these guys get close to you, it's going to be hurtful. Okay, it's going to hurt. They're not as good as the Iron-born shock units, but they are going to be more spammable. They will be more spammable for sure. All right. The Reach. Now the Reach has also seen a overhaul. Now the Reach is now overall pretty good faction, I think, now with my changes. So first and foremost, I think you guys are more caring about their cavalry line, because they have the one of the best cavalry lines in the normal mod. Now you can upgrade your Reach Sworn Sword into the Reach Knight of the Flower. The upgrade cost is immensely high, immensely high, but I have got these guys, and I'll tell you something. These guys are a beast. They are very good. Okay, they are extremely good. Like they don't die because their armor is very good. Okay, I mean, I have seen some of them die, and it hurts to see them die, but they have very good stats. Okay, so they're going to be a sort of they're not necessarily going to be a shock shock cavalry unit, but they are going to be a mixture between a shock cavalry unit and a normal melee cavalry unit. Now, I was planning to actually add a shock unit, a shock line, so maybe starting from the Reach Mounted Sergeant, I was going to add a shock unit line, but the Reach Mounted Knight of the Flower kind of fills that role, and they fill it up pretty good, okay, pretty good. So you guys can tell me if this is too OP. They do have pretty good armor, and they have very good stats, okay. Alright, so very good stats, okay. Now, one change that I did make also is now I've added their house guards and elites and a spearman line. Their house guards now have better armor, okay, and I've made them I made them look more Tyrell, okay. So they're kind of more based on the Tyrell house guards, which you can get if you're the owner of what's it called, High Garden, but I've added it anyway to see how it goes, okay. And then here's their spearman line. Nothing special, not by far not the best spearmen in the game, not close, but they are more easily spammable compared to the other spearmen that you've seen, okay. All right then, okay, so very good. All right, then we have the Riverlands. The Riverlands has also seen a big change. I have not really touched their cavalry line. I think did I give them better armor? No, I don't think I did, but I think I gave them the Destrier. Oh, what's that guy doing? The guy struggling to start his motorbike or something. I have no idea what he was doing, okay. Then you have this Destrier. This Destrier, I think I've added it. I think I did. I can't remember if they originally came with a Destrier because I don't use Reach Cavalry at all. I never do. What's this guy doing? Alright, cool. Then we have the archer line. I've changed the archer armor so it looks more cool. Okay, I've literally looked out my window. It is, as I suspected, some guy struggling to start his motorbike. Okay, so this is the new armor that I've added. I mean, it was already in the game. I didn't add it to the menu myself, but I've added it to this unit. Okay, so you can now see that armor has changed. Now I've added the Elite Ranger as well. The Elite Ranger is going to be basically the best archer in Westeros by far. Okay, and possibly even in the game. Okay, so that's that. Then we're gonna go into the infantry line. The infantry line, in terms of the house guards, I've given them better armor, but that's about it. Because usually they're walking the park, so maybe with this better armor they can be a bit harder to kill. I don't know, we'll have to see. Then we have the Riverland Pikemen and the Riverlands Vanguard. These are going to be the spear units that are going to I gave to the Riverlands to help protect their archers, but the AI is kind of stupid. They don't really use them to protect the archers, but you can. If you're going for a Riverland army, you can use these guys to protect your archers. You can classify them as archers, and they can stay with your archers and help protect your archers against cavalry units. Okay, so that's why I've added that. Maybe a bit of a an option to help complement the weakness of the Riverlands, okay, when their archers do get exposed to attack. Stormlands. The Stormlands has seen a change as well, where I've added the Elite House Guard. The Elite House Guard is basically going to be given very heavy armor, okay, as an infantry unit, very heavy armor. So that's that. That's basically the difference there. Now, what I've done also, I've added the House Knight and the Shock Cavalry. Now, these are two different routes you can go. If you go for the House Knight option, they are very good. They are going to be one of the best cavalry in your game. They are basically a more elite version and a heavier version of the Stormlands Knight. That's basically it. And then you have the Shock Cavalry unit. The Shock Cavalry unit is going to be a bit different. Now you can see that this is a shock unit, okay, because it has the 200 axes which can't be used on horseback, keep in mind. So once they're in close quarters, if they are stuck in close quarters, they can't use their axe. They can only use these lances, and they're not going to be doing that well, okay, in close quarters, because you've closed the distance, so those lances won't work properly, okay. but they are very heavily armored, so you can use these also in sieges where they have the two-handed axes and they can go and cut down the enemy, and they do have heavy armor to help protect them. And I've used them, they are pretty good. They are very good shock units, very good. Okay, so I don't want just shock infantry in this submod, I wanted to add shock cavalry, proper shock cavalry. Okay, so we have normal cavalry, heavy cavalry, but we need some shock cavalry, okay, that will punch through the enemy lines. So that is your Stormlands shock cavalry. So have your fun with those. Believe me, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna be smiling as you rack up the kills. Okay, Vale. Vale also I think needs a bit of work, in my own opinion, because their more elite cavalry units don't have that well equipped armor in the normal submod. They have a degrade in their armor. Whereas in this submod, I have given them now better armor. I have also given the Vale Knight of the Gate a lance. Okay, so you can have this, and they have the full plate. Okay, so they are going to be very, very heavily armored. And once again, just like the Reach, where was that guy? The Reach, just like the Reach Knight of the Flower, this guy is going to be filling a similar role with covering the both a shock and a normal melee heavy cavalry unit. Okay, but in the future, depending on how good the Vale Knight of the Gate is or how bad they are, we might add a shock cavalry line. Okay, for the Vale and also for the Reach. Okay, depending on how good we see them be. Now I personally don't like the feathered helm. So that's why I've changed the head armor a bit, but it's that's just my own personal preference. Honestly, that was my own. I insisted this would be the case, so this is what we did. Okay, now the Vale House Guard is the same unit he usually was, but he can now upgrade into the Vale Sword of the Moon and Spear of the Moon. So you guys can utilize these two troops as well. They are going to be very good infantry, okay? Very, very good infantry, very heavily armored infantry, and have your fun with them, okay? Have your fun. They're going to be pretty good. Now the Vale Spear of the Moon is going to be one of the best spear units in the game, hands down. Okay, heavily armored, and they look pretty cool in my opinion. They look pretty cool. All right, so yes, you can enjoy using these. The only weaknesses in close quarters. They're going to have the dagger, so that's the only problem they have. But apart from that, they're going to be good. And I just did that. I think that would be good for balancing purposes. I don't know, but if you can get a mixture of Sword of the Moon and Spear of the Moon, brilliant, good on you. Then the Westerlands. Now Westerlands, I think also needed a huge change. Okay, because they are not that strong in my opinion in terms of what they used to have. Now they're going to have much different. They're going to have a different troop tree altogether in my submod. Their spike line is now more or less the same, but their foot soldier can now upgrade it into a Westerlands swordsman and all the way over to the Westerlands House Guard. Okay, Western House Guard is a very decent, very decent soldier. Okay, very decent infantry soldier who will do the trick. Okay, he will do the trick. Okay, then we have a crossbow line. I've basically moved the crossbow line from tier 3 to tier 2. Okay, which is might be a bit too OP, but we'll have to figure it out. There's a solution for everything, guys, you know. And now their horse line is going to be tier 3 as well, so they're going to be a bit more easily spammable as well. And their crossbow line is going to get an extra unit called the Westerlands Sharpshooter. The Westerlands Sharpshooter is going to basically be given heavier armor compared to his precursor. That's basically it. I've added firstly the Westerlands Knights. Did I change anything about them? I think yes, I changed their armor, so now they have a bit better armor. And I've added the Lion Guard. The Lion Guard is going to be the most elite cavalry in the game, basically. Okay, in terms of proficiencies, most elite cavalry. Now, you could argue that the Dragon Guards of, if you're Valyrian, you can get Dragon Guards from Illyrian Patters. You can argue that they're better, rightfully, but they won't come with a lance. These guys will, and therefore these guys have an advantage, in my opinion, because a cavalry needs a lance. Okay, if your cavalry doesn't have a lance, he's just a guy on a horse. Okay, he needs a lance. He needs that advantage. The lance gives reach. You're on horseback. You have the height advantage. Damn, use the damn lance. You know, get a lance. a spear. Get something that it has long reach. You know, they're useful. It can kill. Then we have the Lannister troop tree. The Lannister troop tree. They now have the elite red cloak knight that I've added on top. Now these elite red cloak knights are going to have very good armor. They have the great lance as well, so be careful because these guys are going to hurt. Okay. I've added the house guard unit that you can get as the Lannister if you own the Lannister, the necessary Lannister cities and castles. You can get these guys, and also the spearman line. Okay, the spearman line as well. So here they are. This is their units over there. Okay, then that leaves us. Okay, yeah, that's it. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything because I do sometimes do that. Okay, I don't think so. Dorne, Dragonstone, okay. Right, great. So now I'm going to go and work on showing you the mercenaries. So I will be back. I will collect all the mercenaries and I will try to upgrade them as much as I can so you can see. Okay. Alright, and welcome back. And here is all the new mercenary units that I have added. The other mercenary units are still the same. So these are just the new ones. Now we have the Raven Tree Archers, so if you watch the Ravens, if you've watched the Blood Raven series, you would know who these people are because I utilize them in my army. So these are going to be the Raven Tree Archers, and if you take a look at the troop tree, this is the Raven Tree troop tree, and you can hire these guys from taverns, and basically you get the Raven's Tooth, which is basically the most elite archer unit in this submod, okay, and I can show you their stats if I just talk to him. So you tell me about yourself, please, and you can see the stats. Nothing very special about the normal Raven Tree Archer, but he does upgrade. So the upgrade costs 304 stacks, okay, or dinars, and you get the Elite Raven Tree Archer. Okay, the Elite Raven Tree Archer, and then is a precursor to the Raven's Tooth. And if you take a look, here is the archery skills, and you can see that the archery skills have increased considerably. So that is the Elite Raven Tree Archer. And then you have the Raven's Tooth. Raven's Tooth, if you do that, okay. And here he is, very, very good unit, very high proficiencies in the archer department. And yes, this is basically who this guy is. He's very heavily armored, okay. One of the best archer units in the game, and you can utilize them. They look pretty cool in my opinion. I think they look basically the most coolest units I've ever created, in my opinion. So those are going to be your Raven's Tooth. Then we have the House Guards. Now the House Guards, it's just what came into my mind because originally these guys were the Raven Tree Archers, but I realized that when I got these guys, the Raven Tree Archers were not coming with bows when I used this troop template, so I just replaced this with the House Guard. I don't know, it's something basic. They're not that special, to be honest, but they are there. You know, they are there for hire. Okay, they're not tremendously expensive. I personally don't use them that much. They're only here again because they used to be Raven Tree Archers, but I personally don't use them. The upkeep cost isn't that high either, so you can use them if you're going for a mercenary army. Sons of the Harpy. Sons of the Harpy I've added. I think this is a quite cool addition. They will come with the Son of the Harpy mask, and of course they're going to be very, very good. I've made them, I tried to base them off like guerrilla fighter units, like, you know, how they roam the streets, the narrow streets, and strike silently and stuff like that. That's what I kind of base them on. So high athletics, relying on speed and precision. They are good. They are good at what they do. They can get killed. In my experience, they do tend to die a bit, but they are strong units. They are strong units to have. Okay, they are strong units, and you can really find them very easily, in my opinion. Like whenever I go to taverns, it's always Sons of the Harpy I see. Okay, almost always. They are very high. They're very easy to find. Okay. Silver Guild Warriors. I've added these guys. These guys are basically a mercenary unit in Essos that give their services. I decided I would add them, and here they are. Okay, you can upgrade him, the normal Silver Guild Warrior, to a Veteran Silver Guild Warrior, and here is the line. The only difference is the Veteran Silver Guild Warrior has better armor, a bit better armor, and also a bit better stats. That's it. Apart from that, there is not much. There is not much to be said that changes the two from each other. So here is the stats. Okay, they're middle tier. They're not special. They are not as good as other infantry units, but they are still, they can still get the stuff done. You know, they can still get the job done. Then you have the Sagosi Warriors. Sagosi Warriors I've added as a shock unit. If you are into that type of stuff, I personally don't really have much to like about them. I don't use them all that often, but they are good at shock units, and they have very good 200 proficiency. So once they're close, they are swinging that axe like there's no tomorrow. Okay. Arguably, you can argue that they are the best shock units in this mod, but their armor is low, and also they're a bit hard to find. Okay, they are a bit hard to find. But apart from that, the Sagosi Warriors are going to be very, very fun to use if you are into shock unit, shock tactics. Then we have the Yetish Warrior. The Yetish Warrior is going to be a spearman unit. The only reason why I added this guy is because there is the Yeti armor in the menus files. I thought it would be a cool addition. And here are these guys. They're going to be very good spearmen. But apart from that, their armor isn't that great. It looks very cool, but it isn't that special. Okay, their armor is not that special. So they are there for hire if you so wish, you know, if you so wish. Okay, so they are still there for hire. Then you have the Faith Militant. I've added these guys. I think they're a cool addition. The Faith Militant is going to be racking up prisoners for you guys. Okay, so tell me about yourself. They're going to come with a nice old circle shield. Their armor is it's meh. It's not nothing great, nothing bad. It's there. It's good. It's medium. Then they have this club with spike club, which is going to do blunt damage. Okay, so that's going to do the blunt damage and stack up prisoners for you if you're going for the mercenary army. Okay, so that's your Faith Militant. So those are the mercenary troops I've added. So yeah, once again in the description below you can see you can get the troops file, and if you are going to download this submod, I hope you enjoy it. I would appreciate honest feedback. If anything's too OP, if anything is not too OP, if anything's perfect, you know, a good sweet spot has been met. If you can suggest those, and we can work on the submod for 9.0. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in another episode. Okay, so see you then. Bye.